When Al and Gretchen Beatty, two legends in our sport, take notice of a pattern, you know the thing is a fish catcher. And I'm going to introduce you to one today that has a rich history in the Smoky Mountains. At least the original Tellico Nymph has a rich history. But the Beattys made a variation of it, which I found in 101 Favorite Nymphs and Wet Flies. And they call it the hare's ear Tellico. Now the original has some kind of speckled soft hackle fibers for a tail, a yellow floss body, and then peacock herl for the rib. And they substitute rabbit dubbing for the body and then a thick black thread for the rib. So theirs is going to be more durable with generally the same look. Now before the tie, how about this blast from the past? This is a picture of me and my high school buddies in the 1980s on a fishing trip to the Tellico River. And about all I remember from that trip was it was cold. There was a lot of beer, but not a lot of fish. Here's a Beatty's hare's ear Tellico. So there it is in the vise, a hare's ear Tellico nymph. Now pretty simple, but I think it's a kind of elegant looking little stonefly pattern. Now I'm tying this on a size 14, one extra long barbless nymph hook. That'll work right there. And I'm going to use some brown thread. This is a 70 denier. Go ahead and catch it in, take it toward the back. Now the first thing we're going to catch in is the tail and the wing case. Now pheasant tail fibers, and the one you saw in the vise before was maybe 8. This is probably at least 12, maybe 15. And what I will do, just roll them in your fingers to break them up a little bit so they won't be married. Now this might be a mistake. I might be doing too many right here. We'll know in a minute in the end. But let's go ahead and catch this in. We can do a couple of tight wraps. Hopefully that'll flare out a little bit. Yeah, that might be a lot, but we'll see how it looks in the end. But don't go too many wraps. Next thing you do, go ahead and bring your thread back in. And I probably should have done this before I did the tail. It's our rib. And this is a black 210 denier thread. And this is how the Beattys differed from the original Tellico. It's going to be a little bit more durable. The original Tellico was peacock herl, which, as you know, is kind of brittle. But we'll go ahead and catch in this that we're going to wrap as a rib. Leave our thread toward the back and go ahead and put a little wax on it. And now we're going to dub some tan rabbit, just straight rabbit fur. And kind of up to you how thick you want it. Some stoneflies, they're kind of thick, kind of chubby. The original Tellico is a little bit chubby. But you can leave it thin if you want. I'm going to kind of go maybe a happy medium. That's about a 3-inch noodle right there. I'm probably going to need to do this a couple of times. But go ahead and wrap it up almost all the way to the front. Okay, we'll need just a little bit more. Okay, and that is a little bit thicker up front, which was kind of what I was aiming for. But now go ahead and wrap up this rib, maybe 4 wraps on this size 14. And I should have mentioned, if you don't have a 210 denier thread, just use a couple of strands of 70 or 140 will be fine. Now one thing I'm going to do before I pull that wing case over, I'm just going to take some hen. And I tried doing this, wrapping it as a collar, but I think it put just a little too much and it was a little too bushy, so I'm going to just tie this like a throat. And the advantage of doing this like a throat, you can pretty much get the length you want. Because if you're too long, you just pull them until you're about the right length. And that's a little bit close to my eye, so I'm going to back it up and catch this in right on the top of the front of that body. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, I like that throat right there. Let's snip this excess. Okay, and now we can go ahead and wrap this over. And why I used more on this one than the last one is really because I wanted a pretty thick wing case. And that might be at the expense of my tail being a little too full, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, a couple wraps to hold that and take a look at it. Yeah, I like that wing case right there. So we'll go ahead and secure this and snip the excess. And now we just make a big old nymph head here. Quick whip finish. Okay, there we go. Now you could go in here and probably trim some of that tail fibers, some of those fibers out, but I'm not going to worry about it. I think it's going to be just fine as it is. So drop a head cement, this thing's good to go. So I appreciate you watching, my friends. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.